listen up.
All right, welcome to Jack Dodson'S Racing Insider News this week. I'm at the Virginia Beach studio, and Jack and them were at Langley Speedway. Jack wouldn't let me come to the show because I wasn't feeling good.
Yeah, you may have that virus. We don't need you.
At least that's my excuse. Let's thank our marketing partners. We got to thank GAC, Great American Company, Garamo Amaya, that's been with us for several years now. I really appreciate those guys. I did miss out on the pizza tonight, Jack. Papa John's Pizza. Use your online order and use Dodson'S25 and get 25% off on your online orders. Slinger Speed Company. We're just talking about Mr. Tim Brown. Tim Brown and Slinger Speed is the official T-shirt company of the Jack Dodson'S Racing Insider News, and we're glad to have him on board at a bigger capacity. Bonders Brothers Distillery. I'm curious of how Eddie Clark's review of the product is going to be after we gave him our last bottle last week. Although Jack, I seen him had a side-by-side on the side, so I don't know if he had too much to drink.
He didn't do too well, did he?
No. Not supposed to drink and drive, Eddie. MPM Marketing with Tanya McAllister. Let's see. Pepsi. Mosquito Joe's. Get 50% off on your first month of service on this side of the water, not in Chesapeake or Virginia Beach, but in Hampton, Newport News, Williamsburg, yada, yada, yada.
Where's that at?
Huh?
Where's that at? Yada, yada, yada.
It's over yada. RDS Performance. I think Nine Toes has been pretty busy. I think they've been out there testing some. And he's got a few limiteds. It'll be nice to see how Riley Rando does in her first year in the limiteds. Mean Dean Automotive with Greer and Associates, and they're in
Moya.
a little slow, but okay. Moya. Speaking of Eddie, Old Fast Eddie's Barbecue. We got to appreciate Eddie. I mean, I had barbecue Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then when I left for West Virginia, we stopped and got barbecue again. S&N Communications, Airlock with Factory Canopies, Todd Davis. Appreciate those guys, man. Been with us for a long time. Miles the Seamless Gutter, been with me for 10 plus years, and can't thank those guys enough for coming on board and going along with our ideas of our sponsorship and putting up the money. I really appreciate Miles the Seamless Gutter. Please go out and like their Facebook page. Langley Speedway with their new 75 years. It was pretty cool. Be one of the oldest short tracks of 75 years old. And that, is our home. Let's see what else we got. You got some new logos there, Jack. You been playing with the AI?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of look good too. I mean, All right, is that it?
That's it.
Hello, Bill Mullis. Bill Mullis is in Concord, North Carolina. So I'm sure he's down there doing some of his NASCAR duties down there. So anyway, all right, let's some news here. The Cup race this weekend was won by Kyle Larson. The Xfinity race by Justin Allgaier. The truck race was by Kyle Larson. It's a shame he didn't get all three of them.
Oh well. Well, you got to be in the second one to get it.
Over at Kingsport, they had 2 late model races over at Kingsport. Zeke Shell and Hunter Morgan got the wins. And Scott, who won the Mod 4 race?
Kevin, what's the guy's name? Kevin Canner?
No,
No?
he got disqualified.
Oh, he been cheating this whole time.
He got disqualified after the race.
That's because he was on the show.
So I felt kind of sad. I saw sad for him. You know, it's the first time he's lost a race in a year or so. So
I don't feel that bad for him.
all right, down at Five Flags, they had the ARCA East Series down there. Max Reeves got the win over Connor Mozak. The regular, all-star, whatever they call them, Cole Butcher got the win. This weekend was a big weekend at Sobo. Late model win number 1 went to Peyton Sellers. Late model win number 2 went to Trevor Ward. The king of the modifieds was Matt Hirschman.
No surprise there.
No, it really wasn't no surprise. It wasn't.
Matt's a wheelman and a half, dude.
And in the Stars Superstock Series, Jeff Melton got the win. In some other news, the Cars Tour will be at Wake County this weekend. Other people will be at Martinsville, so I don't know what to tell you on that. Austin Hill got a ride for 5 races this year with Richard Childress. He's going to do 5 races in a Cup car. That's going to be good for him. And I don't know if anybody watched this, but I've seen all the videos and everything of Tommy Baldwin.
Yes.
Tommy Baldwin. I would never expect Tommy Baldwin.
Well, the whole thing, you'll understand why.
Well, I listened to it, but I still had it in my. I don't think how Tommy Baldwin, I've been.
He just doesn't seem. He's always kind of a nice guy. You just wouldn't think he'd be like that, would you?
Well, he's passionate about the sport itself, but you got to think he's going to be twice as passionate when it's his son.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, well, it didn't work out. I mean, he got a little rung up about it, but Matt still won the race. So
Yeah, we always see him at the food tent with our buddy there in the Cup garage. So when we run into him this weekend, I had to ask him about it.
yeah, ask him how he likes Jake Crump. I don't think he likes Jake Crump too much.
Like, is this the Jake Crump fan?
Yeah, Jake. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, we got the big man Buck Roos here with us tonight. It's been a long time since we had you down here.
Yes, sir.
So glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Definitely, bud.
You got your cohort over there.
Yes, sir.
Sidekick.
No,
Second time Buck's been here in 3 weeks.
I'm the sidekick. man.
But you know what? We went to New River to watch the cars race down at New River.
Great race.
Adam went with us. They put him to work down there.
Yeah, why not?
Wesley Alton was walking around with a mic. Next thing you know, it's in my hand.
Yep.
How that happened?
There you go.
And notice you didn't turn it down when he gave it to
No,
you.
of course not.
Oh, no. Never turned down the opportunity.
That's right.
Now, Buck, you're a TV star now.
No.
You're a TV star. I saw all your interview and stuff from, up there with Southside and everything. Tell us what that means to you that Southside's coming back.
Well, it's the counterpart of this facility. Southside and Langley were my life when I was younger. Of course, my grandmother being a NASCAR official and growing up around racing my entire life, I ended up at both tracks the week I was born. So straight out the hospital, I was passed around in the pits here and at Southside Speedway. So that's, might as well go ahead and say it. That's 56 years ago.
Wow.
I'll be 57 in August. And so I've spent my entire life at both facilities. And so it was bittersweet to see the track close, but I think it's in the right hands now. And I'm just glad they're trying to do everything right. They're making sure they get all the papers correct. A lot of people were like, hey, let's get a big bunch of people and go clean the track up. You cannot even walk on the track's site without insurance. So you have to have the insurance papers done. You have to have the papers done for clearing land. All that has to be done. And the Midlothian / Chesterfield County area, they're very strict about that. So they're doing the right thing, and I trust them to make sure that it happens correctly.
So when, there seemed to be a lot of back and forth between the county and everything, and Lynn and that group, or how I mean, he said he was in like 3 groups before he got the one he got. But
Yeah.
I mean, there had to be a lot of back and forth. It just seemed like the county at first wasn't really into doing this.
Well, you have to look at it also from their side. They're looking to make sure that it's going to make the dollars that are going to be brought and spent into the county. They don't want the Chesterfield County or Midlothian residents being the only money that's coming in. They want it from outside. They want outside cars tour. They want modifieds. They want something to bring outside money into the county, and that influx builds the county better. So the county was just trying to make sure that they understood. And Bill and Chuck will tell you, they came down here numerous times with different people on the board for Chesterfield Midlothian area. And they went to multiple local tracks trying to understand and learn exactly what was happening at those facilities, and looking at the ebbs and flows of the finances. And Bill will be the first one to tell you the ebb and flow is never pleasant.
No.
It's how much you're not going to lose. It's trying to make anything. It's just like owning and running a race team. Unless you find the right partners to come aboard the car to help you out, you're not going to make positive money during the season. Even if you do not blow a motor, don't tear the car up, you're still going to spend more than you're going to make every time, unless you win every single race.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in it to make money, it's not going to happen very often.
Yeah. What was that, Mike Waltrip or somebody said the best way to have a small fortune in racing is start with a big one?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So with what you've seen out there and what's going on, I mean, it's been what, 5-6 years since all that's taken place. I mean, there's a lot of work that's got to be done, and
yes.
so I think they're gonna. You think they're gonna? What we discussed a few minutes ago, they're gonna do it by sections and try to, different intervals, try to get everything done.
That's the rumblings. Try to mainly get a facility that can operate first. The vandalism that took place out there is immense. Every window of every building is busted out. The scoreboards tore apart on the back side and on the front side. The building in the infield's destroyed, and that's the newest building that was on the facility grounds. And I mean, sheetrock's kicked in, doors are busted down. So there's tons of stuff that they got to look at just even before they can clear land and start doing things. They got to figure out if their structures are still usable that are there for right now, or if they're going to have to maybe bring food trucks in for the first few races. I know I've like I said, once again, it's rumbling, so it can't be fact from me, but I've heard there are already grandstands found at a facility down south somewhere that are coming in that can take care of at least the front stretch area. So, I mean, the grandstands are already in play right now, according to what I heard. And it's just, Lynn would love to have at least an exhibition race with carts and legends and bandos, maybe something out there this year. But they're also, they're looking at the safety aspect of it, and unfortunately, they're going to have to either get rid of or do something with that boilerplate, because it's laid over too much. It's too dangerous. It's broken in areas, and it probably costs almost as much to fix as it will to replace it anyway.
Yeah, that's what they had with Southampton when they tried to go back with that. A lot of that was messed up.
Yeah, there's railroad ties. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was really tough. So how much involvement did you have in all this? Did you get in and make your pitch for it, or?
Come on, Southside Speedway. That's about it. I had no actual I didn't have a pitch for it. I did take it upon myself to look into prefab buildings and what they would cost to do something, what it would cost to try to put up the LED lighting, what it would cost to, replace a lot of things. And pretty much, ironically, the same things I did look into, I've heard rumblings that Jeff and Lynn have looked into as well, because it has to be sort of fast tracked, but You need to keep the public's interest. So you get it up nice and shiny, give them a nice, beautiful ring, but then over the next couple of years, give them an extra band of gold to go ahead and throw at it or something. You know,
Yeah.
something shiny, that's something new, that'll keep the interest going.
That would be a good, like they've done here. They've done a little bit of that
Yeah.
here. So it's,
Exactly. I mean, Bill and Chuck set the precedence, you know, now, and I mean, Chuck and Wayne back in 90, 94, 95, you know, Dwight, that really put everybody on attention and note when they put this tower together in these grandstands and put them off the ground and made everything work the way they did here. And then Bill came in and did the improvements he's done now. And it's been proven at every postseason NASCAR award banquet, this facility is always awarded every year.
we've got a first class facility here. So,
Yes.
so hopefully we'll get Southside to have that kind of facility down the road too, when everything gets going and gets situated.
Yeah.
Give us one of your favorite moments. I mean, you've been around it. You've been around this sport for years, and you've been. I mean, Adam and I talked about it before.
Mhm.
Did you know more about what's going on in racing than we'll probably ever remember about something? You know about it.
Just old. Been around it. If I lived it, I mostly remember it still. Because it's, once again, it's passion. You know, I have a passion for music, for art, and for racing. And those three things drive my life really nicely. And, you know, I take Cindy along with everything I do.
I'm glad you're forward.
Pardon me. Pardon me. She puts up with everything I do. But it's my favorite stuff from Southside. When first would start as a kid, Sonny Hutchins was my hero. So being around Sonny, being around Tommy Ellis, and watching them race when I was little, and watching them succeed, 3 championships in a row for Tommy out there, and watching him win a initial Busch championship.
Yeah.
You know, and being able to know those guys, it's really cool. You know, when you're young and you look on TV and there's Tommy Ellis. That's the guy, you just got his autograph last year at Southside Speedway, and he's running Daytona. That's awesome. You know, and those passions. And then, you know, as I grew up, you know, I got to sit next to Wendell Scott for an entire race night out there. He was out there to help with trophy presentation after the races, and he was walking up the grandstands, and I slid over and patted the seat next to me. And he said, "You want me to sit there, son?" I said, "Yes, sir." And Wendell Scott sat right next to me for the entire night until they got ready to do trophy presentations. He got up, ruffled my hair, and said, "Thank you for the seat, son." Down he went to go give out trophies.
Well, I mean, you've known a lot of those guys that come through there.
Yeah. And I guess racing wise, some of the best races, Chris Dodson, Eddie Johnson, Steve Zuskin, you know, those guys that are not afraid to go on the outside of the racetrack. Here, Michael Greathouse, you know,
Oh yeah.
those cats, they were not afraid to get on the top groove of Southside Speedway, which everybody says it's insane to try to do it. It's like running outside of Martinsville. Nobody does it. But they did it and they made it work. I told someone at Southside during the press conference, I think my biggest moment for me announcing probably was a U-car race. We had 20 cars show up. And for the first 8 laps, they were 4 wide at Southside Speedway. Door banging, turning each other sideways. I literally had to pull out my inhaler, take a shot of it, take a couple of breaths, take a shot of it, and then pick the mic back up and keep going. I ran out of breath. I couldn't breathe. Trying to keep up with what they had going on.
That's a history you got in you, that you've got, you know, that you're going to live with that for forever. And that's going to be one of your big moments. You know?
Yeah. You know, just, you know, and, you know, if it's offered, I've already been thinking about it. And Cindy and I've been talking about, you know, going back out there if it's offered, Jamie, of course. So, because it is, you know, just like here it's home, and I'm probably going to, you know, look at backing off a little bit on the music for next year. And because that's getting on me a little bit.
Off the record. You're going to be happy.
Okay.
We talked to Glenn last week. Hey man, who do you want? You might have thrown your name out.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Lynn already made that a pretty much official, right? Hey, Buck. Bill had a thing here. He says, you know, all the old late model guys, they know about you and your family. But I'd say a lot of these newer guys don't know the history of you and your family. Tell us a little bit about like your grandmother, your mom, and what they did in racing.
Well, my grandmother started out as the line scorer for Lenny Pond and David Pearson in the early 70s. When David was driving for the Wood Brothers and when Lenny won Rookie of the Year, she was his line scorer. And Morris Metcalf saw that she would help other scorers when they'd miss cars for laps. And so he said, hey, how about you go get with Pat Stevens at Langley Speedway and she'll teach you how to line score. And so she became a line scorer here. I mean, she did it at every facility around the Commonwealth, it's at one time or another. And my uncle by marriage is Ray Hendrick Jr. So I grew up around Ray Hendrick. Yeah, my mom's sister, Marilyn. She just passed, God rest her soul, but she married Ray Jr. And so I grew up around Ray and Roy and Ronnie and Big Ray. And Big Ray always used to mess with me at birthday parties. And, it's a little stuff like that that's really cool. Have somebody come up behind you with them big clodhopper hands and grab you on the shoulders. You still like Sonny Hutchins? I said, yes, sir. He's a hole. I said, yes, sir. You told me plenty of times. And he goes, I'm just playing with you. I said, yes, sir. I know. And so just doing all that. And my mom, she became a line scorer. My Aunt Cheryl became a line scorer. My Aunt Donna became a line scorer. All of it. My grandmother, number one rule from her was do not get involved with racing people. I don't want you doing anything. Well, my Aunt Cheryl married a race car driver. My Aunt Donna married a race car driver. Ray Jr. actually raced limited sportsmen. So Marilyn married a race car driver. My mom married a race car owner. Limited sportsman out here. Hicks Brothers Racing, Leroy Hicks. And my stepdad. It was a red and white 04 car. Won one heat race the entire time they raced, but all his tires came from Bobby King and Tommy Ellis because my stepdad and Bobby King worked construction together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So that's how I got to be around Tommy Ellis so much too.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So like I said, it's a big background. And then, fast forward to 1999, I meet Dennis Hamlin and Mary Lou Hamlin, and we've been friends ever since. And I helped them design T-shirts, run websites, everything for Denny when he was coming through late models, all the way up until the Xfinity series, I think. I ran his website.
Cool. You got that's a pretty big history for you.
Yeah. So
all right, let's go back to the Denny Hamlin thing.
Okay.
Now that you brought it up, do you see a possibility? Now, I'm not telling you to say yay, nay, whatever, but do you see a possibility that with Southside opening back up, Denny would think about bringing his race reincarnated at Southside?
I have put together a new way of running the event and presented it to him and his management. So, and he's definitely interested because he still wants to win a late model race out there.
Yeah, I heard him say that the other day.
That's like really big on his checklist. A 3-time Daytona 500 winner. I still haven't won a late model race at Southside Speedway. So, that's pretty cool for that facility to hold that, over his head a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm working with Jeb Burton as well, trying to see about maybe doing another race with him this year. We're not sure yet. If it happens, it more than likely is going to be late in the year, even after Martinsville. So I'll be in Martinsville this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to go meet with him on Saturday, him and Ward and Sarah and Tom and all those. And Mark Clements has joined them now. So that's really cool for the Ward Burton Wildlife Foundation.
Yeah.
So, and Mark's, that was a big feather in the cap for the foundation. That's for sure.
Well, that sounds cool that, that may come back into fruition again this year. That would be wonderful. I mean, the race last year seemed to be a great thing.
Yeah, it really went very well. All the competitors, all the teams seemed to be very happy. Even the ones with Torque race cars came up and shook my hand. Thank you so much for fighting us.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
You remember Ward Burton, what he said about that race?
Well, I was just going to say there was one person that wasn't happy, and that was Ward. They did.
Oh, no,
and I said
if
something
it happens,
to
he's
his
going to
son.
be Grand Marshal. He's already told me I'm not getting back in a car.
Oh, he's not. He told me last time, he said they need to bring me a better damn car next time.
Well, I mean, it'd be good to have you back at Southside and have that track back here. He says he's gonna run it on Friday night, so that's not a, well, I guess
Conflict.
you're going to do anything with Langley if it's not the same time frame or anything.
you know, my heart, like I said, the only other track I'd go to when I was little was South Boston. Because back in the 70s, you'd run Southside Friday night, Langley Saturday night, South Boston on Sunday. South Boston ran on Sundays during the day. And back then it wasn't that much. Everybody looks at the racing now and you got 6 divisions that show up. Back then it was limited sportsman, late model sportsman. That's it. And they don't realize you tested during the week. There was no practice session. You rolled in, you unloaded your car, you checked it for leaks. You drove it around the pit area to try to check the brakes. You lined up for a heat race, odd and even points. You ran the heat race, and that's how they determined the inside and outside line for the feature. That was it. There was no practice. There was no time trials. So imagine that now.
So, I don't think a lot of guys would like that right
They
now.
burned the place down.
I don't think that'll last too long. But, it'd be fun to get it back. I hope, and this is my thinking, I hope the tracks work together a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, to make it, I think Southside and Langley could probably work well together, but you still got Dominion, you still got South Boston. There, I mean, you're looking at a big area there, but you got to get the same people.
Yeah.
And so I hope they work good together.
Yeah. The hardest part's going to be just who's going to run late models on what day or the different divisions. And if let's say Len takes the rules from here and we can actually have super streets, all the divisions here, sister division, sister track. That would be great. Doesn't have to do every division, but it'd be pretty cool, because the track Bobby Allison said, if you can learn how to race here, you can learn how to race anywhere because of how much you have to actually utilize the brake and muscle the car. This track is amazing for flat track learning.
Yeah.
You're constantly trying to get lateral grip. And once you can finally get that lateral grip, the problem is, then here comes a guy behind you. There goes your lateral grip.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of fun for that. And are you back with us this year, son?
Oh, yeah. I think April 19th, I think it's my first.
Got a bunch of days coming up.
Yeah.
April, May, June.
Well, I talked to Brian down at Dixieland. I said, what is this? You taking all this time off? What's the deal?
He's important, man.
He says he got another hospital now that he's working with, so he has to have a lot of travel time.
Well, I'm honored to work with both of them anytime I get a chance. That's for sure.
It's an honor to have the 3 of y'all here. I mean, we probably have the best public address system and people around. I mean,
We might see.
look at Adam. It goes down to New River, and they stick a microphone in his hand because they know he can do
He's
it.
done a phenomenal job, period. I mean, I started at 14 and he's already bypassed what I could do in the first 2 or 3 years. I
Adam,
mean,
he brags on
leaps and
you
bounds.
quite a bit.
Well, I learned from the best. I remember the first night I was here, Buck was, here you go. That's how it started 6-7 years ago.
Well, Buck, last year I brought a friend of mine up here, a young kid. He wants to get into announcing and whatever. And I brought him to. I remember the guy I brought up here to you,
Mhm.
and he still talks about that all the time. He
Yeah,
said, man,
I want a microphone.
yeah. I said, look, I'm gonna have to get you back down there again. So I want to bring you back down here, and maybe you can walk with Adam out on pit road this time.
Definitely just I tell him, listen to MRN and listen to the professionalism that is on there, the way they call the action, the way they call incidents when they happen. They have trigger words that make sure everything happens. Make sure Alan Bestwick was somebody I love to listen to because he didn't just tell you the race car driver and that's it. He would give you the car number, the turn they were in, who he's racing against, throw colors at you of everything. He gave MRN broadcasts on TV.
That's right.
And that really, I got to be around him about 4 or 5 times, and each time I thanked him for his influence.
He is one of the best too.
Because it's one of those things where you like, I could talk about Joe, here. There's talks working now around a racetrack. Oh, he's inside of somebody, and everybody's like, oh. But if I say, Joe stuck in the 16 machine, working to the inside of turn number 2. Now trying to come off. Now everybody goes, okay, turn 2. There's the 16 car. I know who you're talking about.
Well, you know,
That's the difference in announcing.
what gets me, and I probably have said this before to you guys, but what gets me is how whoever's down on pit road, whether it's you, Adam, or whatever, down on pit road, how do you all intertwine with each other? I mean, it's flawless. You guys are flawless with what you do.
That's
and I'm trying to figure out how in the world do they do that?
That's the Morgan inflections.
I mean, they'll skip right. Adam will say something, and he'll stop talking, and Brian will pick right up, or something like that. And that just, I mean, it kills me how that happens. And then Brian, you know, he's almost a buckaroo, in some ways.
On a good day.
Brian's amazing.
Yes. But with all his information, I know he's got a book in there. He's got his information.
It's this tall.
Yeah, I know he's got his information. You got yours in your head.
Not all of it. Not all of it. I still pull up Race Monitor on my phone, and that keeps all of us in detail, because not only does it give us a car number and name, it also gives us the differential between the leader and the next car. We can see exact laps. We can hit that driver and look at their lap times and see how much they're falling off, and see if the person chasing them down is falling off as much. We can do that. It's all electronically right in your hand. And a lot of people don't understand, when you see the TV broadcast and they show them talking in the tower, look behind them. There are 4 TVs, or computer monitors behind them, that have all the information on just the race leader. This one's the fastest laps. This one, so everything's right there for you to do a lot of times.
Okay, well, you and Brian do it up here in your head.
Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, you got your phone. I'm sure he can look at it. Well, he's got the computer.
He's got one screen.
Yeah, he can look at it that way too. But I mean,
yeah, he's got the same timing and scoring we do. And when we're down in the inside, it's just our biggest thing is to try to not get stuck in repeater mode.
Yeah.
When somebody goes, oh, he's working to the inside. Yeah, it looks like he might make the pass. Yeah, he's working to the inside. Looks like he might make the pass. I said, no.
That's why they do what they do, Jack, and that's why we have a little teeny internet show.
Well, I guess you're right. I mean, we didn't amount to much when we were in racing. So,
Hey, Scott, I see you got my jersey on the wall behind you.
Right? Yeah, you see that, right? That's right. I noticed it.
well,
Yeah, going to another sport. I got one of his rookie cards the other day.
Oh, did you really?
Added it to my collection. Got a Zen
Nice.
rookie.
all right.
Yeah, I'm a card collector.
All right. Well,
There
I'm a card collector too.
you go.
But anyway, thank you for coming.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I appreciate you being
Thank
here.
you.
I mean, you're such an asset to everything and to us. And I knew when they were talking Southside Speedway, I said, man, Buck Bruce got to be the man we got to talk to. So,
Lynn didn't hesitate. We asked him.
oh yeah, that was not that. That's not no brainer.
Keep your ringer on, buddy. That phone
Well,
call's
we've
coming.
been around each other a very long time. Lynn grew up around Lenny Pond,
Oh yeah, I
and my
know.
grandmother was Lenny's line scorer. So that shows you how long Lynn O'Neill and I have been around each
Go
other.
ahead, get your figure of how much you're gonna ask him to pay you.
Yeah, start thinking about it.
I think you can negotiate pretty good there.
But
Just don't come get Adam or something like that to come up there.
Well, if he needs Brian a ride, just give us a call.
it's Friday night, so it
We
doesn't
can do
matter.
Fridays.
That's right. Yeah.
Dixieland might be. That's
Yeah.
Dixieland.
Brian's in Dixieland. So.
Well, guess what that means.
Well,
There
just down the road.
you go.
That would be awesome, man. We'll run out of voice on Friday night, come here on Saturday. Just nothing left.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we appreciate it, Buck. Thank
You
you.
know, my friend.
And
Always.
we'll talk to
See you
you.
soon, man.
Hopefully we'll see you down here again soon.
Yeah, I'll see you on the 19th at least.
For sure, man.
See you, Buck.
Scott.
Scott probably falls.
Watching TV.
All right, which one you want to go next? Come on. Hey, Scott, you didn't do your thing.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, you're eating.
No, I'm done eating. Let's do.
Hello, I am Kevin from Virginia, and you are watching Jack Dodson'S Racing Insider News with Scott Allen and Adam Welbrock.
All right, joining us now is Joe Stock. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. So, are we ready for this year? Are we?
Getting there. We're close. It's
You got much time now.
it's not racing if you're not cutting it close, you know.
So tell us a little bit. Have you got any changes, anything you've made this year to?
You know, just dealing with the rules changes with the super streets. They added lead to the cars, so that's gonna be the biggest thing is just getting used to that, how it's gonna change how the car works and what springs you need to use and that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
But that's really it's the biggest change for us, at least on the car anyhow. We're seemed like we had things working pretty good there at the end of the year, so we don't want to change too much as long as the driver can do what he needs to do.
Yeah, we don't want the driver to fall out of the seat.
No, I mean I've been trying to work on that too, keep going.
So tell us all about what last year, how things went for you last year. Remind us about that.
So the year kind of started out a little slow. It was my second year doing it, running between fifth, seventh place, and towards about halfway through, we started running fourth, fifth. Then we ended the season with 2 top threes and a second place finish to round out the year. So we got one more spot to go. So gonna try and make that happen this year.
Be good. Are you going to be doing anything as far as running other places, or are you just going to run here at Langley?
The main focus is going to be Langley. There's been some talks of people trying to put together a race at a Super Street Dominion stock race at a Dominion, as well as possibly Shenandoah, since they're under new management for the year this year.
Oh, I
they
didn't know that.
Yeah, they talked about me and some guys from up at Dominion had talked about the possibility of that happening, but it's kind of up in the air. Their season end. The nice thing about Dominion is they're talking about having their race after our season ends, so there's not, we can run our year and then head up there. Whereas Shenandoah wraps up their season before us, so to fall without them having a special race night for it, we'd have to come from here up to there, change setups, and if you're racing for the championship here, you don't necessarily want to take that kind of risk.
Yeah, you don't want to mess up something before you really get going. So.
Yeah. Yep.
So who all helps you with your car? I mean, I think we've been through this before when you were here before, but tell us who all works on your car and helps you out.
So I mean, I got a real great crew with AJ Koffold and Jesse Holston, who races enduros out here, and Brian Stahl, another friend of ours, and then of course can't forget my wife, Mackenzie. She really does a lot, kind of picking up the slack around the house when we're busy working on the race car and doing racing and all that stuff. So
yeah, don't forget her.
No, can't forget her. But yeah, I mean we're a pretty small team, just a handful of us. But I mean we make it happen.
I mean, from what I saw last year, you had a decent season to build on, to build something big this year. I think it'll be great.
That's what we're trying for. So
I think you can do that, because I mean that division, it's a tough division.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of great competition. Sammy and Weeks, Nichols, Abbott when he shows up. The Woods are coming along.
And aren't you glad Robbie Parker's no longer involved?
I don't know who that is.
Oh man.
Oh, you're the one we did this stuff with last year. I know you know who Robbie Parker is.
I know who Robbie is.
All right, you play that game. You play that game right now. I'll let you. Scott, you remember?
I remember. I was just getting ready to ask it.
Yeah, well, it's a
I'm
good thing
sure.
we don't have
I'm
Robbie
sure
Parker.
Robbie gave him some good stories about y'all racing back to Southampton.
And they're lies. Anything Robbie Parker says about me's got to be a lie.
Not even like half truth, or
There ain't no half truth to it either. Especially a couple of the ones that I'm really privileged to know about. Those were complete out and out lies. So they don't listen to Robbie Parker.
Some of it I might have put in Robbie's mouth.
Robbie's a great guy. Him and Sammy have helped us out a ton. Getting started, getting through my first 2 years. So at some point, I'm sure the information will stop when I start knocking on their back door. But until then, I appreciate everything that they got for me.
Tell you what, first time you beat them, come see me. I might have something for you. I mean, I like Sammy Gator. I really do.
New car this year.
Yeah, I saw that. It's a pretty car.
Yeah.
But Robbie Parker, I'm not really big on Robbie Parker. So
He ain't been on the show in a while.
and you wonder why, don't
Yeah.
you? I think it's pretty simple. Why
Him and Sammy ain't been on in a while.
anybody sit and tell a lie, say he lapped me 2 times in 1 lap. That's bullshit. I don't care what you heard that, didn't you? Yeah, you heard it. Another one of them Robbie Parker stories. But yeah, okay. Who else sponsored helped with your sponsorship and everything else?
I got actually have I do I'll announce that Empire Roofing and Siding is coming back on board with us this year. More than likely, they're going to wind up being our title sponsor. To go with them, we got Something More Meats and Sweets, who they feed us every race day. They're great catering and food truck service. And Earl Sanders Realty, as well as Hardwood Specialties, which is my woodworking shop. So we got plenty of room on the car left. So we're always looking for more sponsors for this upcoming season. So if anyone wants a car that might be in Victory Lane, this is a good
I
one.
don't say might. I think we're gonna get it to Victory Lane this year.
We're gonna get it to Victory Lane.
I can't wait. I can't wait for you to do it.
If Joe's as fast as he was at the end of the year last year, he's going to be a contender.
Yeah. And as long as he beats Sammy Gator, I mean, I don't want him to beat Sammy Gator because I like Sammy, but he's got Robbie Parker on that car. So as long as he beats that car, I'm good.
Well, it wouldn't matter because Robbie's helping him too. So,
Well, Robbie can help him, but always go back and check everything Robbie tells you.
Yep.
That'll be pretty tough. Well, anyway, we appreciate you coming out here and being with us tonight, man. Hope everything goes good. You got anybody you want to shout out to? I mean, talk about or anything before we get you out of here?
No, I mean, I just want to, thank all my sponsors that help us get this far, and thank all my crew guys for keeping the car on the track every week. I definitely couldn't do it by myself. It's a feat. Super street racing is tough racing. It seems like every week we got something to fix or something to work on. So
and what don't get fixed, they'll help you get it messed up.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming. Thank you for being out here, and we'll get you back. We'll get that first win. We'll definitely have you back on here.
There you go.
And I might even let Robbie Parker come out here that night so you talk trash to him.
That'd be a great night.
And if he comes and Robbie's here, you got to talk trash to him.
I will.
Because I'm gonna help you. Anyway, all right. Joe Shook, we appreciate you being with us. Stuck.
Yep.
Joe Stuck, we appreciate you being with us, and we'll see you out here this year.
Sounds good.
All right. Before we get to you, we come by the open. Have a good one, man.
You too.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, man. All right, Scott, on you again.
This is Fast Eddie with Fast Eddie's Barbecue. You're watching Jack Dodson'S Racing Insider with Scott Allen and Adam Welbrock.
Hey, he's pretty good at that. All right, let's go ahead and bring Jeremy on here. Hey, Jeremy, how's it going, man?
Excellent. How you doing, Jack?
I'm doing good, man. I tell you what, a couple weeks ago, you got that win. I was so excited for you. I know what all you've been through since last year and everything. That was a big deal. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that was definitely a big win. Not only the money wise, but it's just the simple fact of first time back at Caraway, and I ran the north south, but we had a problem with the motor. But that's the first time I been back at Caraway with a really good piece, and only the third time in the car since the bad wreck. The other time was at New Smyrna, which we had a a little bit of a motor issue, which that's what we found, the motor issue that we didn't know we had at North-South Shootout. I mean, we finished 10th that first North-South Shootout, but then we went to New Smyrna and found out that the motor problem we had, it magnified with that long straightaway. So got that fixed, and first night out in that new motor and new setup, and dominated. It was awesome.
I mean, I was so excited when I heard about that. I thought, man, he if one guy deserves a win, that's the one you deserve right there. That was a big one.
Appreciate that.
Look, now this past weekend down in South Boston didn't turn out so good. So tell us about that too.
You know, we rolled in there Friday because they had a 2-day show, which I kind of was, not too fond about it. I mean, I get it. They're trying to do the late models. They're trying to do a bunch of different stuff. So they wanted to split it up. But hopefully they don't do that again, because it just adds so much more cost to the crew, hotels, and people have to drive so much back and forth that they didn't want to stay tonight. But basically Friday we rolled in there. We were out of the box with 75 lap tires that we had left over from Caraway, because they ran the same 20s and 30s that we run on the Smart Tours, what they run at Caraway. So we rolled out with 75 lap tires. We were like 13th or 14th on the charts, and the car felt real stable. So I said to myself, if I can run these kind of times at the end of 125 laps, maybe I might be able to have something for Matt Hirschman or Luke Baldwin, which I figured that was going to be the two guys to beat. So we didn't really do too much changes. We mocked up one, later in the day, and the track had started rubbering up. So we were really, really tight when we mocked up. So I said to him, all right, when we go to qualify, we're going to have to free it up big time. Well, the sun decides to come out like 5 cars before I go out to qualify. So now we got 4.5 inches of stagger, which when we mocked up, we only had 4 inches, and we put a rubber in the right rear. So, going for it, we qualified 8th, which, sounds crappy to me, but I mean, there's a lot of guys who would have loved to have 8th out of 34 cars, but I mean, and I got in a redraw, but then when they redrew the 4, 6, or 8, they actually pulled pill 6. So they only redrew the top 6 instead of the top 8, which kind of bumped me to my 8th spot, and, which wasn't bad. I mean, all in all, it was, a good starting spot. So our goal was to, by lap 100, to try to get in the top 3. So that way, as it restarted, I figured Hirschman would be leading, and that would put me on his back bumper, and whoever's outside of him maybe would challenge him, and maybe they kill each other, and I could, pull off the win. You just never know. But the old saying is, Jack, you got to be in it to win it. So,
that's right.
But things kind of went a little bit different. We fired off, took the green. About lap 4, I noticed the car started getting really free on entry, and when I picked the gas up, it was like I was qualifying every lap. Like I had 4.5 inch, 5 inches of staggers, what it felt like. And that's never good at South Boston. You know what I'm saying? So basically, come to find out, we limped it till we lost about 5 or 6 spots. We were, I think, 12th or 13th, so we still got like 25 or 20 good cars behind me. And coming off of turn 2, actually going in, the car stepped really bad. Coming off of 2, it just swapped ends. And what happened was that we only run 8 pounds of pressure in that left rear tire. But once it gets below 6, it comes off the bead, and that's what basically happened. I found the problem, but I found it the hard way, and looped it in front of the whole damn field, which everybody tried dodging me. I think Cash almost had me clear, Jonathan Cash, but I think when he checked up, the 02 didn't have a clue what was going. He didn't know what was going on. Joey Coulter got in the back of him, and it was like just a chain reaction deal, and kind of shot him left into me and hit me in the driver's door, and knocked the wind out of me. And then after that, Carter McMurray hit me head on, so knocked the towing out a little bit. But I mean, pretty much, once you lose a left rear tire, what sucks about that, even if your car is perfect, we only get a right rear change. You get what they call an emergency left rear. By putting an emergency left rear on, it's like putting a 40 lap tire on there. So now you're so mixed matched with the new right rear and a shitty left rear, the car is never going to be balanced until you can get that right rear on it and rotate the lefts.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to have to deal with during the course of the race like that, to lose the handling of the car like you did, and that was pretty bad. Jeremy, what was it like when you got back in the car for the first time after all you went through last year? What was it like for you? Did you have any nerves or anything that's gonna, hey, I'm not sure about this right now?
Well, when I got in that bad wreck, landing in the hospital, and then almost 5 months laying in my bed at home. You know, everybody knows me as a high strung person. So I had a lot of guys. I mean, a lot of car owners, a lot of teams reach out to me just to make sure I was okay. I mean, Ron Silk, you know, to name a few, you know, just a bunch of Tim Brown, bunch of the guys that I compete with on a day. But the one that reached out to me that really meant the most to me, that gave me this major clue, was the 34. He runs up north. Wow, I'm drawing a blank. I can't even think of what his name is now. It was at the tip of my tongue. But anyway, so basically he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, have you ever heard of the Tiger switch?" I said, No. What are you talking about? He's like, "Yeah, it's a kill switch. It's like, it looks like a bullet that goes in line in your throttle." And basically what happens is, what happened with me was, I hit the chip really hard at the start finish line because I had too much gear with the softer tire that NASCAR took us to New Smyrna with, and I never got a test with it. So I came with the max gear like everybody else did the year before. Well, I get through the corner so good at New Smyrna because I'm a, you know, send it type guy, and that's one of my home tracks. Well, I hit the chip at 8,200, where those motors only designed to run $8,000. You could turn them 8,200, but for a short distance, Jack. And what happened was it floated all the lifters. Well, when it floated all those hydraulic lifters, it dropped the valve. And the valve, literally, the piece of the valve broke off of the exhaust, and the guide itself, it broke off. And at the same time, the intake valve bent. So
Dang.
when the piston came up, those fragments came up through the intake, which is like a 1 in a million chance. I probably had a better chance of hitting the lottery that day, but it came up through the intake and it hung the rear throttle blade. So no matter what the hell I did, it didn't matter if I pulled it back with a toe strap. Matter of fact, I bent the gas pedal. Troyer's got like a toe strap you can buy. It's an option, and I put it on there. I've always ran them because I've had the throttle stick before, but nothing like to this extreme. But I tried pulling it back so hard, I bent the throttle pedal the wrong way, and it still wouldn't come back, because the harder I pulled it, the harder that throttle dug into the throttle body. So it wasn't going to give it up until actually the pedal went the wrong way, back floored, which, you know, nobody in their right freaking mind is going to floor it when you're already, you know, blazing toward the wall wide open, you know. So everybody's like, well, you should have just floored it. It might have sucked the piece back down. Well, that's like saying you should just push the clutch in. When you're doing a $150 heading toward a wall, I mean, and that's what the speed was. 152 mile an hour at 35 G's is what the NASCAR data recorder recorded, which, you know, everybody says, geez, 35 G's. Well, yeah. So like the wreck that Earnhardt got into that killed him, of course, he didn't have a Hans device, didn't have the safety stuff we got, was a 27 G hit. And, you know, so Ryan Newman was the highest ranked like G wreck to date. When he barrel rolled it down the front straightaway at Daytona, it was like 32. Well, now I get to be the one to talk about it at the meetings they have for NASCAR safety data, which isn't something I wanted to, you know, have the record for.
Yeah, that's not something you sit back and say, hey, I did that, but you don't want that record on there.
But back to what you were saying about getting back in the car. So my first race back was the North-South shootout at Caraway, where I'm really, really comfortable with in the car, and the speeds are only maybe, I don't know, 110, 115 top speed, maybe 120 if you're lucky. So I felt that would be a good place to go back and try that bullet out, the kill switch. And what that does is, like, so when you return your get off the gas, if it doesn't come back, there's a spring that pulls the pedal back. Well, it immediately shuts that switch off, which kills the ignition. So everybody's like, well, why didn't you just hit the kill switch? Well, I can tell you, Jack, I hit the kill switch flying through the air at 18 foot in the air into the fence. So it shut the motor off at 18 foot 4 inches because the data showed it on that with that sensor. So, I mean, and the fence is 20 foot tall. So imagine 2 more foot, I'd have been out of the ballpark. So thank God that, you know, that New Smyrna had that tall fence and the cable. I mean, so, you know, my wheel and tire went 280 foot over the fence into the parking lot and landed next to a lady that was pushing a stroller. So, you know, a lot of good things happened that day. I was spared my life. That lady could have got killed. The kid could have got killed. There's just a lot of grateful things that, you know, the good Lord looked after everybody. But I mean, and I did great at Caraway. No problem. Rolled out there first practice, top 10 in practice. The motor just didn't feel right, which it never did. So we ended up, you know, finishing 10th that night in a 3.5 hour long north-south shootout, which was a marathon. Which, you know, so I thought, okay, I'm back. I'm good. I feel good. We're ready for New Smyrna. Well, I never got a chance to test New Smyrna because we built a new car because that one got shit canned, my NASCAR legal car. So we basically finally got the new car done, showed up the day of the race. I go out to practice, and I'm not going to say I got like nervousness, but we had that same bullet I put on that car too. But literally going down the backstretch where I hit the chip, barely bumped it. Did that? I never hit it this time. Send it off in the corner, come out of the corner. And my first lap, I was probably like 20th fastest. And then, she's like, oh, yeah, you're about 3-4 tenths off the good guys. So I said, all right, let me pick it up now, see where we're at. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm picked up. Yeah, I said, nope, I'm not going to lie. I backed it out a little sooner to the corner than I normally do. So next lap, though, I barreled it off in there. We were top 10 in the charts, and the car felt great. And after that, the rest is history.
Well, I tell you what, with all you went through, I am sure glad to see you back. I mean, that's like an improbable story to see you back in a race car again. And hopefully we'll get to see you somewhere along the way and see you racing. I can't wait to see you go, because I tell you what, that was a hard hit you had, and I was worried about you, man. I tell you, really I was.
Well, laying in bed, that was my biggest fear, Jack, was will I ever be able to compete at this level again? Because I'm not going to lie to you. Our tour mod stuff's like the Cars tour. I mean, you got to be A game setup, A game crew. Nothing can be a mishap at all. I mean, you got to be everything's. There's so many guys stepped up and got such good cars now, and the best of the best. I mean, when I won those championships in 17, 18, there was 20 good cars. Now there's 30 good cars. So it's like, for me to get a win with my own team, not with Grady at Caraway. I mean, it was more of a, I'm back. I can still do this. I beat Burt and Brandon and a bunch of other great cars and Ryan Newman. So it's like, I knew I could still do this. And yeah, the $6,500 was beautiful and nice. And I'm grateful for Darren putting the money up, but it was more of a, mental for me and my family to know that I could still do this and compete at the top level. And, and I was ready to go into 20 grand at South Boston until I got the left rear flat.
And it had to be hard, and I'm not trying to make light of it. It had to be hard for your wife to see you go back out there and race again after what you went through. I mean,
well, yeah, definitely. I got a $200,000 life insurance policy, but that don't go very far in this day and age. I mean, our taxes alone here in Florida are like $12,000. So insurance is $5,000. So she wouldn't be able to live long without that. But the biggest thing is, she knew that I took the extra steps of getting that kill switch that, I mean, and literally, I basically researched it majorly. Like, there's guys, the reason they quit using them up north was because people be practicing and they get them too close to being the kill and they back off and the motor would die and it goes to a stop leading the race. But I told myself I would rather have that, Jack, than cream a wall and kill myself. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you.
I never dreamed that you could go that fast at New Smyrna. I mean, usually, like when we used to have the radar guns with our Florida mods, we were like 125, 128. I figured the tour car guys were like 135, 140. But I mean, the problem is when your throttle hangs that extra distance, another 200 feet into the wall from when you're supposed to lift. I mean, that's a lot more pickup speed. You don't realize you could go. I mean, when they called me up and they had me on a Zoom meeting from NASCAR with the big guy, Matt, Matt, what was his name, Helton, and a couple other guys from the research and development department. When they told me 152 and I was 35 G's, I about died, because I remember doing a sled test a long time ago, watching a sled test with the seats, and they said that at 34 G's, your body could possibly disintegrate if it stops suddenly, because your bones can't take the force, and that's why like those jet guys have to wear like G-force suits, otherwise all their blood rushes to their head and they'll black out. It's just so crazy to hear that was the amount of G-force, and it showed the data where they assumed that the throttle hung, where it hit the wall. I hit the wall at 152. I lost 50 mile an hour, flew through the air 18 foot at 102, and slammed the racetrack at 100 mile an hour. So that's what broke everybody's like, how the hell did it break your pelvis and shatter your left tibia? I mean, I thought the seats were safe and everything. Well, the seat's not designed to hit the track flat. The seat's designed to hit you laterally and front and back and sideways. It's not designed, the SFI seat's designed that way. It's not designed to come out out of the space like a UFO. And that's basically what I did.
Well, Jeremy, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you so much, and I'm glad to see you back. Uh, Glad to hear everything is going good. So will you be just running the smart mods, or are you gonna be doing any other racing?
No, we're actually last year they outlawed my PME motor and the modifieds, so I traded the guy for one of the new PME specs. That's a sealed motor. That's what we're allowed to run now in the smart. If I want to run it, I got the NASCAR mod motor right now, but we're allowed to run the PME specs. So the guy I traded to said, "Hey, if you ever want to come run some super late model races, come run my car." So I might dip around in a couple of those races, maybe a Pensacola race or a Cordial late model race, and then maybe some Florida Showtime races. And then we're trying to get geared up to run my good friend Sean Beluzio's race, the Memorial race coming up. I just don't know. I'm in the process of moving all my racing operations to North Carolina and Statesville, just to try to get the racing part moved up there and the new property I bought in Statesville. But I just got so much going on with my son getting surgery recently and he's recovering. It's kind of overwhelming, but I'm so used to living this rush lifestyle, Jack. It's like the norm. I probably, once I get moved, I won't know how to act. I'll be so calmed down. I'll go crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you get moved up to Statesville, I'm gonna come by there and see you and hang out with you for a little while and see your operation. And man, glad you're back. Congratulations on your win. And hopefully we'll be talking to you again real soon.
Yes, sir. I'll definitely see you around. Like I said, if I don't see it at the Palooza race, maybe I'll see you at Carteret or maybe over that side of the world, New River, when we run the Smart Tour over there.
Okay, man. We'll be glad to see you. All right. We'll talk to you again soon, okay?
Thanks again for having me, bud. Take care.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right, Scott, on you again.
It's all on me.
Wake up, Scott.
Hi, I'm Lenny Baticki from PRN at the Track, and you're watching Jack Dodson's Racing Insider with Scott Allen and Adam Wellbrock.
All right, joining us now is the one and only Zach Beavers. How's everything going, man?
It's been busy. That's understatement, to be honest. For this whole off season, truthfully, between the primary car and secondary too, it's just been super busy. Just trying to make sure everything's good with both of them really.
So you're gonna run basically out here all the time? Are you gonna do any other racing somewhere?
Primary is Langley, full season for limiteds, and then we have quite a few gaps in the schedule. If the money allows it, we'll venture out. I know Carteret and Southern National all have Charger 6-pack stuff. I don't know. But they have a lot of people are switching to mainly Chargers down North Carolina, it seems like.
Yeah.
Which is benefit to me anyways. Gives me opportunities to learn new places and just gather experience.
Yeah, that's the best part of it. We can go out there and ride on a different track. I mean, you're not locked in here to the same thing every week, but then you go out and you learn a lot by doing that. And you can bring back here to make it good for you. So that's a big deal.
Oh, definitely.
So tell us about last season. You got started. I mean, last year was your first year in limits, right?
First year racing it.
Oh, well, hell, I didn't know that. Okay. Mm-hmm. First, but tell us how it went and everything, and tell us what you learned too. I mean,
oh Lord. So it was a slow start. Just trying to find speed out here. It's definitely challenging on the 8-inch tire too. You got to have your setup dialed in to even find speed. Truthfully, it seems like that or you're all over the track. I lived through that quite a few times, where we were just too loose or overly tight and wore out the right front tire a little bit too much. And but we ended up finding some speed around August time frame when we had the 100 lapper. We found some decent speed, and then during that race, throttle hung going into 3, split second decision. I'm gonna loop it, kill it as fast as I can. Knocked off the left rear quarter. Cracked it and let it hang for the rest of the race, but I was still able to finish it. That was technically my first top 10 in the season. It's definitely challenging out here. And then later in the season, unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish every race. The last race, we had a incident with Sarah Weitzel. I chose to park it. I didn't want any emotions getting overwhelmed. And we discussed it since, and we have no issues either. But then we went down to Southern National too during the Thanksgiving Classic and survived. That's the easiest way I could say it.
He said survive. Was that rough down there?
So the first night of Chargers, we had 24 starting. And I had some transponder issues, so I ended up having to start from the back, 21st, I believe. Yeah, 21st. It was a wreck fest. It was.
I heard it.
I think we ended up finishing with about 13 out of the 24 that started. Starting in 21st, we ended up surviving and finished fourth out of that one, by the grace of God on that one. And between my dad and my ears and God on my side, I was able to save it for the most part. Knocked the toe out and had to go straight like this. It was wild. Second night was pretty good too. It wasn't as crazy because we only had a 12 start because everybody else packed up and went home. Yep, multiple blown motors, totaled cars. Jamie Sample was there. To be honest, his car looked like a boomerang on the rollback. He got taken out on the last lap. Glad he's okay on that one. That was a wild ride, it looked like, for sure too. But yeah, the second race we were able to finish in where we started, which was 8th. But it was a good experience, to say the least. And I think this year we're gonna have a strong year. We learned a lot about our car, myself as a driver, and everything.
Well, I got 2 questions for you.
Yeah, of course.
How is it with you and your dad being your spotter?
Mm-hmm.
Does that work out good? Because a lot of people say, I don't want my dad spotting for me.
For the most part, it is, but sometimes I'll be honest, I tune him out. Now, well, so it's funny because he's my biggest cheerleader, is what everybody that wears a radio says, because that's what he's doing. He's like, all right, gotta push it, come on, get up there, and everything. But sometimes I do tune him out. Obviously, if people are on my inside, luckily I got a little mirror right there I can verify too. But it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, it meshes well, that's for sure.
All right, the other one, guys, what kind of changes have you made from last year's car to this year's car?
I did a total rebody. We had an AR body on there, about 4 years old. With a lot of duct tape and rivets, we got it managed through the whole year. Now we got a Gen 6 Camaro. It's funny because I bought one. I finally was like, we're done with this. And definitely after it was my birthday race, technically, the 100 lapper. And we were scrounging trying to find body panels. Luckily, my dad had one thrown up in the corner and it fit perfectly, magically. And we had to make our own window. But we got a brand new Gen 6 Camaro. I bought it. And then down at Southern National, Hal Racing Products, they had a drawing. We went for it. Sure, we'll help them out. $25. Got another one.
There you are.
Yeah. Got another brand new one up on the shelf, just waiting. Hopefully I won't need a whole rebody. I don't mind a panel or 2 here or there, but glad to have it.
Well, that's good. I mean, you got 2 cars,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have that extra sitting there. So
Yeah.
You're good to go to start the season.
Yeah. This weekend we got with Ryan Matthews. He wrapped our hood for this season for our sponsor that took over the hood, and got some new logos as far as our trailer and everything. So we're looking pretty set up, that's for sure.
the number of cars in that division
Mm-hmm.
and the racing in that division is unbelievable.
Oh yes.
So, I mean, you got to be on your A game to race in that division. So, what's it like being out there when you look at them younger kids? You know, you're not that old.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of young kids coming along in that division, and you know, they're honestly hard to handle.
They are. They're all out. And I mean, I've talked to every single one of them. I don't have any issues with them. Actually, most of them I've learned things through because they've been around karting and coming up in racing and everything. My closest experience to racing besides last year was my dad 20 years ago, racing here in Southampton. That was the closest thing I got.
Oh, he raced in Southampton?
Mm-hmm.
What did he race in Southampton?
I believe it was Grand Stars. I believe it was years ago. He raced with Denny Hamlin, wrecked in, or they got wrecked in together or something too.
I was there.
that was the one race my grandma, his mom went to, and she never went back after that one. That's for sure.
Well, I was there for the first race they ever run at Southampton, and I stayed there until they closed it up. And Robbie Parker, I know you're on here listening, so shut up. But when it went to asphalt, I had to get out because I wasn't that good at the asphalt racing. But anyway,
I would love the opportunity to race there once, but I don't foresee it being in their future right now.
no, it's not. And at one time, late last season, I was thinking it was coming because they were really looking at doing it. They were questioning a lot of people. I got called a couple times. Some other people that raced out there got called. I was thinking this is going to be the perfect time for them to go ahead and start this. But they kind of backed off of it again. So I don't know what the plan is now. I don't see them. I don't go out there for drifting much because I don't know a whole lot about drifting. So, but anyway.
Zach, what's your goals for this year?
So definitely want to be able to see. Well, winning is definitely a top goal. If I can get there, I can get there. Which we got some good support this year too. Then I want to finish top 10. We missed it by one this year. I think we totaled out with 28 different drivers in our division throughout the year. Yeah. And I was able to finish 11th there. Just luck wasn't on our side on that one. We got a few more goals, but we're gonna keep those to ourselves a little bit at the moment, just because we gotta see how the money rolls.
I seen it looks like you got a new sponsor on the hood.
Yeah, it's the Creek Bar down in Chesapeake off Cedar. Jen there, she's really good to work with, and they're great people. Great food, great drinks, great atmosphere too. It's pretty good.
So what other sponsors do you have for your car?
So oddly enough, I got my dad's work, High Val Industries, and then the tax lady this year, which we have more than enough room to accommodate
anybody else,
anyone. It don't matter if big or small. We can throw your sticker on there too if you want.
Oh, I can get you.
There we go.
I got some stickers.
And he's got some new merch.
Ooh.
He's got.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So last year we were able to get some made here or there, but we went through Black Acid, had them design us a shirt, and now we're on their website too. So if you feel entitled, by all means, rock a t-shirt. They got hats, they got shirts, they got tank tops. Let's see, they got sweatshirts, everything. And I am gonna make sure for October as well, which I'm not sure why it's not there yet, but pink will definitely be an option for the car.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah,
that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now, who all helps you with your car besides your dad? I mean, we know your dad does.
Yeah, he does. So I got a buddy of ours, Shane. He also helps Craig Estep out here too on late models.
We got a Wacky Wednesday family too, Kevin Holland. Then my son helped me hang this body. Then my wife helped me with, a lot of it actually, to be honest too. And same with my mom. Honestly, about it at the moment. Well, nah, I'll go ahead and say it too. We got Riley Music for the year too. He's helping us out too.
Riley Music.
Mm-hmm.
Scott, Riley Music's helping him out.
Dang. I don't know if I'd listen to everything he says. I'm surprised he's going to help you. He's in love every time I see him posting on Snapchat. He's with his girlfriend. I miss you. I can't wait to see you this weekend. I mean, I'm about to throw up.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that too.
Racing, he may not be as interested in racing this year as he was in the past.
He's cutting back. He's not doing limited, not doing modifieds. The
Focus.
girl's taking over.
Mm-hmm.
I will say he likes money though. So if it's paying, he'll be there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, no, it's good that you're back and ready to go again and got everything together.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
So you go out there and give them a show. Let them know that you're here.
That's what I'm trying to do.
You know, I think you can do that.
That division's gonna be something else this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's top to bottom.
I think we're close to 20 on the numbers right now, even with the people that are, like Riley's going up and totally getting out of limiteds and everything, but we're still, I think we're close to 20 from what I'm hearing.
Are you letting Riley set the car up?
He's giving us good intel on it. I know he's got a lot of experience at this track, and same with his granddad, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're getting his secrets or anything like that, but he's definitely giving us some good intel and helping me develop better as a driver as well too.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't admit this. I mean, Riley's a pretty good little kid, but we're not going to tell him that to his face.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
don't use positive reinforcement around here. We give criticism.
I got you.
That's true. But I hope everything works out good this year. You get some good runs, and we get you back on here.
Yeah.
I'll get you some stickers to put on your car.
Definitely.
We'd be glad to ride with you a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe get to that win.
Yeah, you'll see him at other tracks too, promise.
So we'll be out and about, and we'll see what we can come up with. But we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks a lot.
I appreciate y'all having me.
All right, well, Scott, so
Yep.
far that's our show for tonight. Danny Clark says, sounds like West Virginia got to you, Scott.
I
Well,
was like, it was before I got to West Virginia.
we all know it takes a real man to go to West Virginia and do what we do. Being as I was born and raised there, we're not going to say a lot.
Hey, Eddie was giving me a hard time. He's like, what are you doing? I said, laying down. He said, laying down? I done rode 300 miles and we're partying. I'm like, well, I'm sick.
Anyway, that's our show for tonight. Please like and share our show. I want to thank Zach Beavers for being with us. Jeremy Gerstner, we're glad to see he's back healthy. Won a race already. It's really cool to see that happen. And of course, Joe. Stuck, yeah. I can't get that. Yeah, I can't get that name in there every time.
And Buck.
Yeah, Buck Roots, man, it's really good to have Buck.
The new Southside announcer, right?
Yeah, I mean, he ain't got a race to announce.
Unofficially.
Yeah, unofficially. But anyway.
Nobody tell nobody.
Right.
All right.
Secret.
Next week's show, we're going to have Brandon Dillard, who was supposed to be with us week before last and this week, but he's had meetings he had to go to, so he couldn't be there. He promised me he will be here next week. And we're going to have Dr. Patrick Stapoli is going to be with us next week.
The ARCA driver.
The ARCA driver, Stapoli.
Yeah,
he's got a truck program. He's going to run the truck series.
What?
And he's going to run the Xfinity race.
Well, how do you like that?
So I talked to him today, and he said, man, I'm sorry. I've been writing through, getting to him through Facebook. He said, don't do that. I said, well, how am I going to get a hold of it? He said, here's my number. So then we started talking. And he's all excited about being on the show next week. So, and we'll see him at Martinsville this weekend too. So
I was going to say we should come up with a little trivia. I don't know how most people know how he got his name sort of recognition, but maybe we can come up with some trivia with that.
yeah, we can work on that.
So
But, that'll be a lot of fun, and I'll probably have somebody else here. But anyway, that'll be good. You got anything you want to say before you go, Scott?
no, I've said enough today.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, Adam and I are glad you stayed home and didn't bring it here.
Get well soon, buddy. You guys have a great time this weekend, man. Don't go too crazy.
Oh God,
No.
I forgot to be with him. Oh,
Yeah.
oh well.
Just don't let him drive.
I put a car seat in there for my youngest grandson in my car, so you can sit in that going down the road. 'Cause I ain't riding that thing you got. Hey, look, people don't like. It's beginning to look like people don't like that car too much because they're setting them on fire and all kinds of stuff. I don't want to be with you if something happens.
Especially at a NASCAR race.
Yeah.
I think it'd be right at a NASCAR race.
I want to say hello to Heather Zeech.
I'm gonna ban Ricky. he's my buddy.
And he said it's kind of peaceful without you here. It was kind of peaceful without him here, wasn't it? But anyway. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. Tune in next week and we'll see you then.